now the Labour Party's candidate for PCC in Peterborough and Cambridgeshire. My background, as I've explained, is that I was a firefighter for nearly 31 years. I'm the son of a police officer. When I finished my service with the fire service, I went to university, did a first degree in sociology. During that degree, I learned an awful lot about myself and the organisation that I came from and the police service. And I was immensely intrigued by this. Captured by education, as you are a mature student, I went on to study for a PhD and researched with the police, with the military, with the fire service, about uniform cultures, uniform public service cultures. I found often in the research, and some of my conclusions were, that often public servants worked enormously hard, but there was some imbalance between the service they provided and the service that the public expected. This disturbed me quite a lot because I always thought that I'd worked hard for the public, but I did recognise some of the shortcomings that my research showed. So I went to Anglia Ruskin and I asked them if I could write a public service degree, the intention to reach out to prospective recruits for the police service, fire service and military, and try and give them some sociological understanding of the work they were going to be doing and how they themselves may or may not fit in with an organisation. So we set the degree up and I led that degree, and as a principal lecturer I lectured on policing, police management, police leadership, police culture and equality. And I think that in the 9 years that I worked at Anglia Ruskin, I met a lot of students that intended to become police officers. In fact, most of them did. It was their prime intention to become police officers. And I hope that what I did had some effect on the way that they are now serving as police officers. I've remained linked to the police, and during the course of the degree, I worked with the police and did some research with them and helped them with some of their education programs. So I have this span of life from the son of a police officer through to a firefighter, through to an academic, that's provided me with some skills that I'm now intending to use in my application to become Police and Crime Commissioner for Peterborough and Cambridgeshire. In particular, I believe that the police service and the public are instrumentally linked. The police officer is supposed to be a member of the public in uniform. We are not a police state. They are a representative of the community. They have to apply the law, but there is a discretion there and an understanding that they should work with the public they represent. One of the key features of my role as PCC will be to improve that link. In fact, it will be at the core of everything that I actually do as PCC. It is my intention to take senior police officers into the community, to talk to the community and work with the community. And during that time, I would expect the community and the police officers to work together to set what they consider are the priorities for policing in that area. Once they're agreed, those priorities will become my priorities. And so we go the circle. The police meet the community and the police decide on the priorities in their area. I agree those priorities and then the police implement them. This will be the major objective of my administration as Police and Crime Commissioner. I think this is a three-way competition, a three-way fight, if you like, between the Tories, UKIP and the Labour Party. I consider in one way that Cambridge is not a town or a city that is suited to a Police and Crime Commissioner that comes from UKIP. I think that the liberal-minded citizens of Cambridge may actually not like that at all. Nor in Cambridge do we particularly support the Tory party. There are very, very few people who actually vote Tory. So I think in what I'm offering to the people of Cambridge in particular is a choice between a more right-wing, cutting, reforming and looking for efficiencies in reducing the amount of police officers party, and the Labour Party, who are intent in getting more police officers and more PCSOs actually out there on the beat working with the community. We've just experienced on the County Council a horrendous package for their budget where they will be cutting so many public services, so many community services, so many caring services. And we're experiencing now a very real difference between what the Labour Party would offer and what the Conservative Party offer. Whilst I've talked about the politics of the issue, I really don't believe this should be a political post. I think the person coming to the job should have the sort of CV that means that they'll do the job for the people that they're representing and not actually following ideologies from a UKIP or a Conservative or even a Labour Party for that matter. I think that I will serve the people. I am going to stand as the People's Commissioner, the person that will set the priorities for policing that the people of Cambridgeshire and Peterborough actually want, not someone who's going to follow party dictates and reforms from a centralised government perspective. The Conservative Party set up this post. They set up this post to actually represent the people. They didn't, in the way that they set it up, say that the post should be immensely political, although the current incumbent, who's not standing again, has followed Conservative Party dictates. He has cut the police service by over 100 police officers. He has reduced the amount of PCSOs by 50. He has cut viciously into the backroom service. And whilst a lot of people think that isn't particularly important, actually it is. Because police officers now are recognised as spending 50% of the time on duty working in the back room of the police station, filling in forms and doing the work that would have been done by support staff. So when we cut backroom staff, it does have a knock-on effect. And that knock-on effect is that our police officers are only available to be out there serving us for 50% of the time they're on duty. There is something badly wrong with that situation. That's not a situation that I'm going to continue. No, I can raise a little bit on precept, but what you can do is you can challenge the government over budgets, and that's not been done, you see. One of the problems with the political setup where you have a Conservative PCC and a Conservative government is that the PCC has not chosen to challenge the government over budget reductions. I will publicly do that if it is necessary. If the Conservative government attempt to cut the police service anymore, I will be publicly out there in the same way as I meet with the communities. I will be publicly going out there and getting the message across that this is not good enough. But there will be no more cuts that I will just sit back and accept in the future if adopted or elected as PCC. But I'm not frightened of the amount of work that's needed to actually get my face out there and to be seen. I want to be known as the People's Commissioner. The people will recognise my name, they will recognise my picture. And I'm hoping to get more and more television and radio interviews and more things like this with the excellent services of Mill Road TV to try and get out there to the community and let them know that there's somebody that's willing to represent their views with the police service. I'd like to say that my whole life's prepared me for this position. I'm not a career politician. Of late, I've been a city councillor, so I have some political experience. But I believe that I bring this mix of practical abilities, understanding of public services, an academic outlook, and now the political view to become a really excellent and public serving Police and Crime Commissioner. Thank you.